Hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways. We're in the hot seat today. Super Sub, you ended up getting it, eh?
Morning, James. Glad to have you back from Australia, but I believe Paul has extended his stay. He can never get too much of a good thing.
No, actually, the yearlings are only selling from tomorrow, from Tuesday. And my client fell away for the yearlings, and I thought, I'm not going to stay there and fall in for R1 million for some horse that I can't pay for. So I got on the early play. No, I did well. I ended up getting a few weanings and going to bring them back here. High Chaparrals and Loop de Vegas. We got a couple of nice ones. So hopefully it all ends up as well as it went last year, but I don't think it can ever do that. So, you know, we're hoping for the best. But tremendous racing we've had, haven't we?
Yeah, over the last 2 weekends, champion season's well and truly underway. We're into the grade ones in a big way. The Tsogasan Sprint Race Day at Scottsville was outstanding. And of course, Saturday, the Daily News 2000 and the Willavington. But obviously the shine came off the Willavington somewhat with the late scratching of Majmu. But certainly Smart Call took every opportunity after that, made full use of the opportunity. So that was great. It was a fantastic day's racing.
Let me just tell you that Australia covers our racing very extensively. We watched all the races, and we watched midweek racing, every type of racing. It is late at night, but they even go as far as getting the sort of comments, so they change over and get the comments from Craig Peters and to whoever you've got here on the show, especially KwaZulu-Natal. And I think it's immense. It's fantastic. People show an interest, and it's very well covered indeed.
Well, that's great to hear, because we're stepping closer and closer to the vision that was expressed, I think, at the Asian Racing Federation way back in 2008, if my memory serves me correct, where we all recognized that ultimately there'll be one television station that is covering racing 24/7 from every time zone, and punters go through the night. It's just amazing that we're so popular in Australia because the time zones don't actually suit. But they're a very valuable customer of ours, and we of theirs. So, and we do business on a number of different levels with the Australians. It's great having a good friend in David Attenborough, who used to be at Pumalela, in such a senior position up there in Australia. So that makes sure that the relationship is always vibey and good. But I'm glad to hear that the coverage is fantastic.
Absolutely, it's as good as if you were sitting here in your armchair in South Africa watching the racing on Teletrack. Let's go and have a look at our 3 to follow.
And they are off in the Travers. Flower Alley is the winner!
His dad, Distorted Humor, he's probably one of his best sons at stud.
I'll have another, wins the Derby. I'll have another in the Preakness.
Lilacs and Lace, 48-1, upset.
He's just a big, strong, leggy horse.
Right, well, we're going exclusively to Greyville, and we start on Wednesday at the Polytrack, and we go to race 1. A very fancily bred first-timer stepped out by Joey Rams, and we think this filly's class. We hear she's going for the Group 1 next time she runs. Flying Fiona, let's go and pick her up at the start.
Well, there she is. She's beautifully bred. She's bred in the absolute purple. She's half-sister to Divine Jury in very familiar colours. She came out of the gates very nicely. This is her debut. She was heavily supported, and she certainly never let us down.
Yeah, she's caught wide and pulling now, and you'll see that she gets in where she shouldn't get in, but she does get in, and that makes the race easy for her, but she looks like she's got tons of ability.
Well, as we said, she's certainly got the pedigree, and she went through the motions here, and she's headed for grade 1 in her next start. Obviously it's a big step up always. However well you win a maiden, it's always a huge step up, so we'll watch her next start with keen interest, but she certainly looks well above the average. She puts the race to bed very quickly in no uncertain terms.
Have a close look at the horse that ran second, Graham. Timeous, this will win next time out as well. Didn't get a punishing ride, gave her the position that it had, and really ran on very, very well, although the winner won with authority.
No, also a good run from the runner-up, and as you say, also one to follow.
Okay, so Flying Fiona, big things thought of her, and so certainly stepping out some very, very nice juveniles here in KwaZulu-Natal. We're going to Saturday's race meeting, and Michael Azzi stepped out one that looked like it had absolutely no chance from the start. Let's go and have a look at that.
Well, there it is, obviously the Adrian van Vuuren Silks, Abashiri, Sanago deputy, lost all the way around the turn. Not as badly as the favourite, which is towards the rear of the field, the Dean Canamere first-timer, which certainly needed the experience very badly. You can see the Dean Canamere horse right at the back of the field, although that did drift from 2-1 to 4-1, which perhaps was an indication that was not expected to make a winning debut. But also not a lot of market support for the Azzi runner. You can see right towards the back, Corne Orfa is just trying to keep his mind on the job and trying to get him into the race. But watch how it changes, James, when it gets to the 600. And I was standing on the grandstands, and actually at that point, I said to the person standing next to me, I said, Azzi's horse is going to win.
Well, interesting that Grazer Rockin from a bad draw got over and made his own pace, and he's just lobbing along. He actually looks like the winner turning for home. He's got the rest of the field strung out, got them going.
Now watch how Adrian van Vuuren's horse starts to move up now. And suddenly he's putting his act together. Yes, he's being pushed along, but suddenly he's picking them off. And from this point onwards, I thought, here we go. This has got a big chance. Obviously, the experience lay with Grazer Rockin in front. But here the writing was already on the wall for the one in front.
He's got a beautiful long action. He looks like he's going to stay a proper trip and go much further than this mile. But even here, I thought Grazer Rockin might just keep him at bay, and then he just strides on by. And Grazer Rockin's got some form, so it wasn't a bad run. The rest were well beaten.
I think this was a very, very classy performance by a horse that showed all kinds of greenness on the bend and then put his act together over 400 meters down the straight to win well.
Well, that time was much faster than the next time, but we're going to look at the next race because it's always nice to see a Fort Wood come out and run well, and this one certainly looks like she's got some ability, gain ground. Let's go and have a look at her in the second race.
Gain ground, as you said, by Fort Wood, did attract market support, was well drawn. Stumbled a little bit coming out of the gates, as you saw there. The winner, Meliflora, doesn't waste any time in going up handy. There was a lot of money also for Work Ethic, and Gain Ground in this early stages is actually behind Work Ethic, and Anthony Del Pesce has to ride her along in the early stages. It's interesting, obviously, that two-year-olds more and more are making their debuts over distances beyond the sprint distances. You know, in the old days, there was always, you gave them a run over 5 or 6 furlongs first. But this one, whereas Abashiri won well, Gain Ground found one too good for her and the more experienced runner towards her outside. They're not far apart at this stage. The ultimate winner's got the pink noseband drawn on the outside. Work Ethic, in colours very similar to Adrian van Vuuren, but not his horse, is racing alongside Gain Ground. So the three principals, you could almost throw a blanket over them as they came towards the home stretch. But there was to be no denying Michael Azzi a quick double here.
Yeah, he certainly got his horses in great shape here, and I just thought Gain Ground was a bit flat-footed here. She's trying to keep up with them, really not going that well. The filly on her outside looks like she's got her beaten and does run third. I think that these two are both quite nice fillies. They're certainly well worth having a close look at.
Yeah, Gain Ground now starts to do exactly that down the inside. She starts to gain ground. The Meliflora comes to the outside. Becomes an absolute match race. Work Ethic racing a bit greenly behind that in third. At one stage it looked like Gain Ground was actually going to pull it off, but then I think the experience, the winner had raced a few times, told in the closing stages. Half length was the winning margin, but I think Gain Ground, as you say, the time was a little slower than the Colts. One's not sure how deep that field was in terms of quality, but both Gain Ground and Work Ethic will continue to improve. And I fancy if those three fillies meet again, that the winner's going to run third.
Well, you mentioned something interesting. I think Dean Canema really changed it down here. He brought down, I think Dynasty was the first one. He stepped out over a mile at Clearwood, and he absolutely dawdled in. And then every year he stepped out one. I think Power King last year, and he always steps out one over a bit of distance. And I think everyone thought, well, this might be the one that ran in the first race. But they get them ready now.
Yes, they do, and that's that's the way it should be.
Absolutely. Let's go and have a look at the blast from the past. This is an old derby. You'll have a lot of fun watching this one.
Gates are open, soft falling rain, pulling clear. Soft falling rains won the SA Nursery by 3.
Racing in the 2000 Guineas. Gates fly and they're racing in the Godolphin Mile.
They're off and racing.
Weight didn't matter. Fast tells, soft falling rain, much too good. Soft falling rain, an impressive Guineas winner. Soft falling rain is drawing clear.
He's made it 7 out of 7 by winning here today.
But it's soft falling rain who is powering away. We'll see out the mile in style. A high-class performer wins the Nay of Joel Stakes.
The rider is dismounted. Agapanto, Sutherland getting back into the irons. Comarine also settling down. The Top Sport Bloodline Derby runners sent on their way from the 2,400 meter marker. Agapanto a little bit slow to get running, trying to go out wide, but now Mark Sutherland at the back of the field. He's rushing him over to the inside running rail. He's only about 7 lengths off them though at this stage. As they settle down to race, Tramontane has gone off to lead them. Classic Heroes there. There goes Comarine pulling hard in the early stages to race up into third placing. Costa Rula along the rails there. Just on the outside of that is Find the Flame. 1 and a bit then to Casey Sledge. Head on view of the Top Sport Bloodline Derby field, and it's Tramontane, the big white blaze of Classic Hero, pulling hard. Towards the left is Salvatore Vagano, yellow sleeves, red cap, and then Great White Way. At this stage, you'll look for Agapanto. He's along the rail with the red cap. You can just see the on the right-hand side, the red cap of Agapanto is among the back markers, a long way off the leader at this stage. They go down to the 1400 and Tramontane, the leader from Classic Hero, along the rail. On the left in the yellow sleeves, that is Salvatore Vagano. Red sleeves and red cap on the left of Great White Way. Comarine along the rail, white sleeves and purple cap. Find the Flame, the middle of your picture, pink cap. On the extreme left is My Kind of Guy. Half the journey covered in 111 seconds, and Agapanto is about third from last on the right-hand side of your picture. They go towards the 1,000-meter marker in the Top Sport Bloodline Derby, and Tramontane has the lead. In second place in Classic Heroes, Salvatore Vagano's third. Great White Way is right there, and Comarine along the rails, only 4 lengths off them. Then Find the Flame. They're followed then by Costa Rula, Casey Sledge. The Monk is about 8 lengths off the lead. 1 length Fire Arch and Rapid Ascend. Then Agapanto, and then My Kind of Guy behind that Faraday, and at the end is Follow the Falcon. They're about to turn for home in the Top Sport Bloodline Derby. 700 to go. Tramontane's going to bring them in. Classic Hero along the rail, the white blaze. Then Find the Flame, Salvatore Vagano. Mark Sutherland now pulling Agapanto to the centre. He's giving him a few reminders with 5 lengths to make up. My Kind of Guy on the left-hand side also starting to run on. 400 metres to go as they come to the 400 in the Top Sport Bloodline Derby. Casey Sledge, the leader. Fire Arch on the left, running strongly. Sleek Machines also coming forward. Agapanto, 3 lengths to go. The Monk along the rail. Fire Arch in the pink colours. Sleek Machine, Casey Sledge, then Tramontane. Agapanto's running on. Fire Arch and Sleek Machine. But it's Fire Arch holding on, and Fire Arch has won the Top Sport Bloodline Derby from Sleek Machine. Then the Monk involved in the photo for fourth. Agapanto and Coastal.
Well, that certainly was a blast from the past, wasn't it?
Yes, I was trying to remember some of those horses, but it's amazing when you listen to those old commentaries, the names come back. Of course, Swinford Paddocks, Hilda Podless, George Camburis, they were big players in the industry in the early 90s, and Fire Arch went on to Standard Stud. He won the Top Sport Bloodline Derby, which was a £1 million race at one time, but obviously as things went on, the Daily News sort of usurped its position as the major race for 3-year-olds in KwaZulu-Natal, and now the Derby's for all ages.
Yeah, absolutely. Things change, don't they? You know, it's a whole very fluid area, this racing business. It changes all the time. But we're going to talk about the plum of the week, and this one. If you didn't back this one, you wouldn't start your day off well at Greyville on Saturday.
Down the inside, Topaz Rain. Let It Drip is still under the hands, and that's the one to beat. And Let It Drip is the leader past the 200-meter marker. Swordstorm trying to make a race of it, but Let It Drip is clear by 3 or 4. And Let It Drip is well in command. Will win it by 5 lengths and extending. Let It Drip wins it by 5, east up the last 50. Second, Swordstorm. Third will go to Floral Secret. Maybe Yell ran fourth.
Well, you could have got on it a bit early on, and this was definitely shortened, but it gave you a chance to be able to play the pick six, and it was a big pick six carryover for Saturday's race meeting.
Yeah, the pool reached, notwithstanding the fact that we raced alongside Turfentine, it wasn't a standalone meeting. There was obviously a carryover, but we reached 3.2 million, 3.3 million against an expected pool of about 2.8 million. And there was also a carryover at Turfentine, so the pick six, there was a lot of interest in the pick six on Saturday. Here was an opportunity to improve the bank balance. It's not often that I personally would go for an odds-on favourite. I've been around far too long to back odds-on favourites. But you get odds-on favourites and you get odds-on favourites. And I think there was some 9 to 10 available even in the early stages, shortened into 5 to 10. But it definitely looked and turned out to be the best bet on the card. More so, I think, because of the paucity of ability of those behind, lack of ability of those behind. I'm not sure that I'd be looking to follow up with Let It Drip next time out, I have to say to you.
Well, we said you had to get the money on Saturday, not next Saturday. So we got the money on Saturday.
I would exercise extreme caution depending on who she was up against next time out, because I think she's obviously heading in the right direction. She is 6 months younger than her South African counterparts, but she is a 4-year-old, in other words, a 3.5-year-old. And I think, certainly in what I've seen today, she is limited, but this was a race at her mercy.
Sage words, Graham. Graham knows his way around the punting scenes. He knows exactly what's going on there. We'll go and have a look. We'll have a little break now, and then we're going to come back with current affairs. Well, Bloodstock South Africa had a very big mare sale last week at, I think you attended, Graham, you were auctioning there?
Yes, I was one of the 2 auctioneers on the roster, myself and Andrew Miller, and it was out at Worcester, a beautiful day and a beautiful venue. Actually, that Worcester Showgrounds is really a nice place to be on a nice day. It's not a nice place to be on a miserable day, but it's a nice place to be on a nice day, and it was a beautiful day. The sale was very well supported, I must say, and the turnover was good. There was demand for quality mares. Unfortunately, the weaning section was largely not up to scratch in terms of depth of quality, although we did see 1 or 2 change hands for very good money, including a Captain L weaning that made 340, I think it was. So yeah, but overall well attended, good sale.
Well, we're going to have a little insert on that next week, but let's get into the past week's action, and we had some fantastic racing. We're going to kick off with Lonsdale Stirrup Cup, which is one of the oldest races on the calendar. It's always been there, and it's a great race as a build-up to the Gold Cup, the Elan Group Gold Cup, which is going to come later on. We see it from the 1,000 meters. Let's go and pick it up.
Cup field goes towards the 900-meter marker. Sun on Africa continues to lead it. Great Rumpus, the red sleeves and cap. Current Event is back at the rail in third. They're followed by Kolkata and Gone Baby Gone. Mountain Master on the outside, Kingston Mines. Solid Speed, that's got about 10 lengths to make up with Coltrane Race. then Disco L, and they're followed by Jay's Outsider, Heart of a Lion, and Henry Higgins getting the wake-up call. Sun on Africa, though, at the turn, clears away by 3 or 4. Great Rumpus is second, then Current Event Kolkata, Mountain Master Kingston Mines, Solid Speech, they've got about 6 lengths to make up, goes in. Sun on Africa now starts to stagger, Mountain Master and Solid Speed starts to pick them up. Solid Speed, and here comes Disco L on the outside, but Solid Speed the leader inside the 200. Disco L is throwing out the challenge, but Solid Speed goes. Heart of a Lion runs on. Solid Speed won it, Disco L second. Third will go to Heart of a Lion. Kingston Mines involved with Mountain Master.
Well, there you go. Just interesting. I had to ask you this. Craig Peters calls it a genuine hat-trick. He said it a few times before. Is there something as an ungenuine hat-trick? You know?
I'm not sure how to answer that.
You're a commentator.
A genuine hat-trick is definitely genuinely 3 in a row.
Well, it was a genuine hat-trick from this one.
Yeah, it was a genuine hat-trick, and a very impressive hat-trick as well, because he's certainly heading in the right direction. Obviously, the handicapper is going to be looking at him and saying, well, you know, you're winning too well each time. That's a chance you take. But once Donovan Dillon pressed the button, he just sliced through the opposition very, very easily. He's won 3 in a row at Greyville. He obviously takes to the course, and this is a good sign for him for the Clarewood Gold Vase. The Clarewood Gold Vase, can you believe I just said that? The Gold Vase and the Elan Property Group Gold Cup at the back end. It shows you, you know, old habits die hard, because the Gold Vase has actually been at Greyville for a very long time. It did start out at Clarewood. In fact, you remember you and I ran second in that race once upon a Sunday a long time ago. But he's very impressive. But I also like the run of Kingston Mines. I thought as a pipe opener for champion season, he was caught deep out on the turn. He stayed on in the straight. He was giving away 3 kilograms to the winner. And I think Mike de Kock would be pleased about the way he came through that race. So I think the scene is set for the stayers for another exciting couple of races. You'll recall last year, champion season, all of the stayers races produced thrilling finishes. The Gold Vase on Vodacom Durban July Day and the Elan Property Group Gold Cup. You could throw, you know, there were small margins separating the winner from the placed horses, and I think we can look forward to that sort of exciting action again.
Absolutely. Well, this horse has won 3 in a row. He's won 5 out of his last 8 starts, and certainly looks like he's been cuddled up very nicely in the handicap to get here.
And he was the only dynasty in the race. I mean, it's just amazing how the dynasties just keep winning.
Is he good enough to carry on and maybe make it a big one on July Day and then go for the Gold Cup?
Well, obviously, it's all about the distance, isn't it? Because from 2,400 meters, he's now got to step up to 3,000 meters in the Gold Vase and 3,200 meters. If he handles the Gold Vase, then it's not a problem. He's obviously very much course suited. And I would suggest that he's not going to have any difficulty with going the marathon trip. So I would think he's certainly put his hand up in a big way. And along with 1 or 2 others, he looks the likely favourite for the staying races.
Well, he's bred by Mr. Engelbrecht, who's a very fine breed in his own right, and owned by Kaya Stable. Dean Kennemer, obviously the trainer. Let's go and have a look at the next one, which was the Will Avington. We're going to pick them up at the start.
Grade 1, 2,000 meters, and the rider almost came off silver class when the starter said go. At fly jumped. Mamacita's at the back of the field and was fighting early on. Pine Princess is going to go out and make the running. Tammany is right there. On the outside, Smart Call is back third. Inara has a perfectly placed position at the rail, back in that 4th position, 3 lengths off them. And Darber's hooked wide out on the track. That's the horse with the yellow, and that's racing about 2.5 lengths off the leader. There's no great pace on at this stage as they settle down into stride. They're followed by Mamacita. Zante's on the outside of runners with Omar, and then comes Sensible Lover. And at this stage, trophy-wise, about 9 or 10 lengths off the leader. Pine Princess heading her own fraction. She has the lead. Back in second is Tammany at the rail, and in Darber's on the outside with the white noseband. Near the rails in Nara, that's got the Blue Silks. Zante's on the outside with Smart Call. They're followed further back by Silver Class, Green Sleeves and Cap at the rail. Alma's on the outside, that's the green cap, and then comes Sensible Lover, Trophy Wife, and Mama Seed is about 8 or 9 lengths off the leader. The Will Lavington 2000 field goes to the 600, and Pine Princess has had her own way out in front. She's controlled the pace. Tammany's back at the rail second, in Darba on the outside. Inara's got 3 lengths to make up. They're really going to sprint up now as they turn for home. Smart Calls on the outside, and then comes on the outside of that Zante. And it's Pine Princess, the leader. Now Inara gets the wake-up call and starts to run on Tammany on the inside. Down the inside of that Silver Class, Pine Princess, Smart Call. Inara's going to have to pick up, and Smart Call comes at Pine Princess over the last 100. Smart Call finishing best of all though, and it's Smart Call from Pine Princess. Smart Call, Pine Princess. Smart Call won it, Pine Princess second. Trophy Wife ran on for third, and then Zante.
Well, a lot of firsts in this race. First Group 1 winner for Jessica Slack from the Maritzfontein stud. First for Ideal World. First Group 1 winner, I think, since her granny left us. And it must have been a very emotional day.
Oh, it was. You only had to look down at the winner's enclosure, see Jessica and Alec. Alec was, in particular, was very emotional. I think it was a very special moment for him. He was vindicated. He's been, been very bullish about Smart Call for a very long time. And he said in pre-race that this was the last throw of the dice in terms of aiming at Grade 1 victory. And his confidence was vindicated. I thought she did it the hard way. She was very wide into the straight. Pine Princess stuck to her task really well, as she did in the SA Oaks when beating Siren's Call. So she's full of heart, Pine Princess. She's not an easy customer to deal with. And Smart Call, after racing very wide into the straight, showed a lot of guts and determination to get up and win it. So great for Ideal World, great for Jessica Slack and the new Maritzfontein's team, if we can put it that way. Great for Alec Laird to provide Ideal World with his first Grade 1 winner, because he's been a great fan of Ideal Worlds. And just off the subject, certainly not Grade 1 class, but the next day, the Zimbabwe Oaks was won by a daughter of Ideal World.
Fantastic. Absolutely superb. They all run, and they just take a bit of time, as we knew they would, and it's really great for them. And we think that will be the turnaround as far as Ideal World is concerned. But let's go and have a look at the daily news from the start.
Ultimate Dollar has been scratched. Ultimate Dollar kicked the back gate, is scratched from the Daily News 2000. So Ultimate Dollar's out of the race. The other runners sent on their way in the Daily News. And Deputy Judd is right there. The Conglomerate has a good position. Dante's Legacy's on the inside. Runners overcoming a draw. Elmal Jet is in the Blue Silks among the leading division. They're followed further back in the field at this stage by Siren's Call. The red cap of Rampant Ice, that's about 6 or 7 lengths off the leader at this stage. They're followed further back by Light the Light, about 8 or 9 lengths off the leader. Throws its head up for a stride or two, then comes Rampant Ice. Amsterdam has the black cap on the outside of runners, then comes Illuminati. Illuminati's about 14 lengths off them with Magdalago. French Navy's also giving them 15 lengths start. Then Prince of Orange and Jaids, the trailer, they well stretched out. In the Daily News 2000, as they go to the 1000, there's about 16 lengths top to tail. And it's Run Rhino Run who leads it. Back in second is ML Jet. Urtajal has moved up into third place. At the rail is Deputy Judge. Siren's Call's getting a wake-up call. Strikers being niggling at her and asking her to get into the race. She's alongside the Conglomerate, who still travels well. Rampant Ice is on the outside of runners, and then comes Light the Light. Further back in the field is Dante's Legacy. Top of the stretch now, and ML Jet comes into the lead. Urtajal, then comes Deputy Judge. The Conglomerate hooks out to the middle of the track. Siren's Call now being asked a question. Urtajal, the Conglomerate. ML Jet is still right there. Deputy Judge, Urtajal and the Conglomerate, they come together in the Daily News. And here comes French Navy with a big run. French Navy's running on strongly. Urtajal, but French Navy's coming on best of all. And French Navy, it's the front to win the Daily News. Urtajal, the Conglomerate, and behind that, Rampant Eyes.
Well, Count to Bois just shows you.
Yeah, there are no rules in this game, James. There are no rules in this game, but full marks to these guys for having found this horse.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Mark and Sean ended up with this one. They had a number of horses going through the ranks about 8 months ago that you would have thought were much better than this horse. But he's just improved and improved and improved.
Well, you don't win the SA Classic Group 1 for £2 million over 1,800 metres at Turfentine and then follow up with the joint richest race for 3-year-olds in the country, the Daily News. You don't fluke that. You know, that's a magnificent double. To win the SA Classic over 1,800 to Turfentine, come out and win the Daily News 2000. Both races, £2 million. Despite drifting off the boards from 7 to 1 to 14 to 1, his supporters must have been alarmed at the way the betting, the way the betting manifested itself. All the money was for Ertijol and for the conglomerate, and they ran second and third. So they ran according to expectations, and yet French Navy just blew them away in the closing stages.
Well, what was interesting to me is that it actually held up the form of the SA Classic absolutely perfectly. There were excuses for all types of horses, Ertijol being one of them. You know, went to the front too early, didn't like the going. There were all types of things. He still got beaten by French Navy on top of the ground. The French Navy is not a mudder. So now where does that put him in as far as the July is concerned?
Oh, no, he's got to be amongst the leading 3-year-old candidates. You know, this time of the year, it's always 3-year-olds versus the older horses. And I think Deputy Judd was also coming through to uphold that SA Classic form. He got cleaned up by ML Jet inside the distance and was then eased out of the race. But he was about to put his best foot forward. So he would have also, you know, shown that the SA Classic form was a true run race, even though, as you say, the conditions were soft. So Ertijol held his form. French Navy held his form. Deputy Judd was about to hold his form before he got cleaned up. So, you know, soft going, good going, they've shown they can handle both surfaces. But French Navy was full value for his win.
Okay, Graham, well, we've had a fantastic week as far as the Daily News was concerned, but now we go on to this weekend's a huge weekend for South African racing, and as far as the Belmont's concerned, we've got Mubtahij, Mike de Cox over there getting this horse ready for the Belmont. How do you see it?
Well, it's a hell of a day, Saturday the 6th of June. We've got the Rising Sun Gold Challenge, and we'll be chatting to VJ in a short while. We've got the Investec Derby, which is going to be run at 5:30 South African time, and which will be part of our card. And then, of course, we've got to go out for dinner and make sure that we stay awake, because we're looking for Mike de Kock and Mubtahij to spoil the party for American Pharaoh.
It's going to be just too exciting. But with that seems to be it as far as the racing's concerned this week. Was there anything else that was of any note to you as far as you're concerned? You guys?
No, it's, you know, as I said, champion season is well underway. Everything's going smoothly. We're delighted with the crowds that have turned up to watch. We had a massive crowd at Scottsville for the Tochason Sprint. We had a good crowd at Greyville for the Daily News. We appreciate the support that we get from the media, so it's a valuable partnership that we have with Daily News, with the Independent on Saturday, with the Mercury, etc. They're valuable partners throughout champion season. We're looking forward to this Saturday for the Rising Sun Gold Challenge. Its first appearance at Greyville Racecourse. Traditionally, of course, very well supported. Thousands and thousands of people have turned up at Clarewood over the number of years to support the Rising Sun Gold Challenge. We're expecting the same, if not a bigger crowd at Greyville this coming Saturday, so it's going to be real hectic. Lots of activity planned, and the Bollywood stars will be out in full force, and we'll hear about that from VJ in a moment. But as I said, from a horse racing perspective, around the world, we're going to take a trip around the world. Grade 1 at Greyville, then of course the Investec Derby, and then the Belmont. So it's a veritable feast for horse racing fans.
You talk to VJ. I'll be back with Justin Snaith afterwards to find out exactly what's going on with the big ones. We'll be back.
200 to go. He responds and Our Giant roars away. He's going to take the glory. Our Giant taking no prisoners by 4. Let's hear it for Our Giant, Anton Marcus and Charles Lee.
Welcome back, and it's now my great pleasure to welcome into the Winning Ways studio the Chief Executive Officer of the Rising Sun Community Newspaper Group, Mr. Vijay Maharaj. Vijay, welcome into the studio. Nice to have you with us again.
Thank you, Graham.
Well, it's that time of the year again. Hey, Rising Sun Gold Challenge time. But before we get into that, here's an opportunity for you, as very briefly, the Rising Sun Group. What is it all about?
The Rising Sun Group newspapers is a group of community newspapers that circulate among little communities on a weekly basis. The publication's now 30 years old. We've started in 1986, and this is our 30th anniversary. And how fitting that we have a new course that we had this year for this race day, and I think it'll be an absolute good opportunity for us to brand ourselves for our 30 years.
So your company produces all of these knock and drops that we as the residents of Greater Durban area get every week?
That's the publication. We are associated with the Caxton Newspaper Group. Caxton Newspapers also have more than 150 newspapers in the stable. We're part of that stable with these little community newspapers that circulate weekly.
So as you were just saying, your association from a racing perspective, your company's association from a racing perspective has been with Clearwood Racecourse, which closed last year, as we all know. First time for the Rising Sun Gold Challenge at Greyville. Are you looking forward to the challenge?
Yes, we are. Mixed feelings again. I mean, we were so used to Clearwood for the last 11 years. This is our 12th year. But I think it'll be bigger and better at this particular course. It's more centrally situated. We've done very well at Clearwood over the years. We've managed to attract more and more people year on year. And I think here, this year, we'll be able to have a lot more people at this course, you know, as I said, because it's more centrally situated.
Obviously, a lot of preparation goes into this race day. Your team working together with the Gold Circle team, and over the years, it's got slicker and slicker.
Yes, thanks to your staff from Gold Circle. I think they work very well with our team. My staff also, hats off to them. You know, they're able to do what it takes to get our promos done, our communication with your team, and it is getting bigger and slicker year by year.
You said it's the 12th year that we're together in partnership with this great race day. And what does the race day actually mean for the Rising Sun Group of newspapers?
I think most importantly, when we did get involved 12 years ago, the element or the reason why we did get involved in such a race day is purely giving back to the community. We are very passionate about giving back to the community, and here we are able to get an organization that would benefit from this race day. And this year we have the Chatsworth Rotary Club. As you know, the Rotary clubs do a fantastic job locally and internationally, and this year we've got the Chatsworth Rotary Club. In the past, we had the likes of Child Welfare, the various child welfares in the organizations in and around Durban, other Rotary clubs, Scottsboro Rotary Club was last year, and so on. So the main reason, once again, is purely that we are able to assist little organizations and up-and-coming organizations in the respective footprint.
But it's a combination of fun, entertainment, giveaways, charity. This has been sort of the ingredients for success, because also it's about the entertainment aspect, and you guys in recent years have been terrific about getting real stars out from Bollywood.
Yes, not just pure racing. I think it's a fun day for the entire family. We have some kind of entertainment for the race goers, for the families, for wives, kids, and so on. Bollywood stars, the Z stars we've brought out a few years, and thanks to Showtime Promotion, together with Gold Circle and ourselves, that we're able to bring out these stars, and people are able to not just see them on TV, but able to have a meet and greet here at this course. I think it'll be absolutely wonderful for those that follow these soapies on TV, that they're able to meet with some of these stars. One of them are Siddharth, Purab, and Ishan are the three stars that's coming out here this year. And I think it'll be an absolute good opportunity for these that follow these SOPI programs.
Apart from everything else that you do on the day, a very special aspect of the day is, I think we're bringing 3,000 members of the elderly community to Greyville as an outing, to treat them to some lunch, to let them be a part of it. It's a huge, almost military type operation with buses coming in from all over the place. Tell us a little more about that.
I think the last few years we've decided to bring in the senior citizens. Firstly, they look out, they enjoy our outing. Secondly, if you look back, we're 30 years old. If you take some of these senior citizens that are 65 years or probably 60 years old, when they were in their prime, at 30, at 35 years old, those were the people who supported our publications. And thanks to them, we don't want to forget about them, thanks to them that we are able to treat them. They are the people who helped us grow over the years.
Well, I think it's absolutely terrific, and I know it's been the last couple of years that we've welcomed the senior citizens here, and we're especially looking forward to welcoming them to Greyville. There's a whole area set up for them. What can racegoers expect to see on the day? How's it all going to be set up? We've got markets and all kinds of things happening.
Yes, we have food stalls, a whole lot of food stalls that people are able to get the meals from. Then we've got a whole lot of flea market stalls. There's entertainment going on, fashion shows. I think there's fashion competition that's going on that day. So there's a little bit for everybody in the family. Be it the husband who might be interested in horse racing, the wife would be probably engaged in some kind of entertainment or and the likes of that for the day.
Now, obviously, the printed media is very much involved through your own company. Radio stations?
We've got Hindwani, who's come on board to support us for this race day. Previously, we had other local radio stations, but this year we've got Hindwani. I think they're an important component to get the numbers out here as well, together with our newspapers, but just not our newspapers, together the Caxton newspapers. They've managed to give us a fair amount of mileage and coverage through their publications throughout KZN.
Well, we're expecting between 15 and 20,000 people to be at the races this coming Saturday. It really is a big day, and it is about charity, it is about entertainment. I'm sure the throngs will be out to greet the Bollywood stars. But going back to the racing side of things, when you started out 12 years ago, the Rising Sun Race Day was pre-champion season. It used to happen over the Easter weekend, and then between yourself and myself, we came to the formula to bring it into champion season and to back the Rising Sun Gold Challenge. Has that made a difference to you?
I think it's made a huge difference. The fact that we are at a Grade 1 race, main stake on the race for the main race is R1 million. I think that's made a huge difference. The fact that we're in the category of the best of the racing. It's made a big difference to racegoers. I think also it's better during this winter season from a weather point of view. We're always concerned about weather. As you know, in the past, we once had a problem with weather where we couldn't race on the Saturday and race on the Monday, but we feel so much better during this June season.
Well, Vijay, firstly, I want to thank you for coming into the Winning Ways studio. I know you're a very busy man. It's a very exciting week for all of us. And I can promise you this, Vijay, while he's the CEO of the group, he'll be the first man here at Greyville on Saturday morning at around about 6:30 in the morning to make sure everything goes off smoothly. It's lovely to see the cars on display, all of the flea market, all of the food stalls, the elderly, the entertainment, the stage. There's so much to look forward to this Saturday. Plus, of course, I need to talk to you about this. The fact that we promised a clash of the titans. It's Legislate versus Futura, both in the stable of Justin Snaith. And I know that you're not necessarily top of racing's not you're much more a Ferrari guy than you are a thoroughbred racer. But you've obviously seen both Legislate and Futura in action through last year's champion season, and of course followed their progress. Are you going to be in the Futura camp, or are you going to be in the Legislate camp?
Talking about horses, the closest I am, like you said, to the horses is the Ferrari logo. But more than that, I think dead heat is where we want to be. Let me play it safe. So I think if it's a dead heat, it's going to be something to be talked about.
Okay, well,
Yes.
you never know. He might be prophetic words. I guess we better arrange for 2 blankets, 2 winners' blankets, 2 winners' sashes, and who knows, even 2 floating trophies. VJ, thanks very much for coming into the studio. And talking about Futura, talking about Legislate, and talking about Justin Snaith, he's up next with James Goodman.
Champion Season, All-Star Horse Racing.
Right, well, we've got Magic Millions, and we've just been there, so let's have a look and see what they won with over the week. And Orson Adam from the Mike Azzy stable, that ended up winning by Flying Spur, that was. And Justin, nice to have you in the hot seat. Justin Snaith, for those of you who don't know, Justin Snaith joining us because you're going to talk to us about the Rising Sun. But firstly, your dad was at Magic Millions. He seemed to be having a good time.
Yeah.
A bevy of beauties around him.
I'm waiting for the day when he doesn't come back. I think he loves it. He loves going to the sales. He goes with Hassan, and they have a good time. And he bought a lovely winning. So looking forward to seeing it when it arrives.
Nice of you to come down and join us in the studio here. Big day on Saturday, the Rising Sun Gold Challenge, and obviously you've got the 2 big horses in there. How's it looking for you?
It's going very well. For Futura, everything's gone to plan with him. He's cruised into this race, and I think he's a real special horse, and I can see what what people go on about his temperament and the type of horse he is, and just super impressed at everything that he does. He's workmanlike. Legislate hasn't been as lucky. Unfortunately, the incident that happened in the drill hall where he was injured, I don't think the injury should have happened. I don't think the horse should have been loaded that early, and I don't know how these horses are getting their hind legs through the back gates, but they're doing serious damage to themselves. So hasn't been ideal for him, and just seen the scratchings, and he's drawn a bit wide, 16 out of 16. So he's going to have his work cut out, but if you're going to win the hard way. So he at home, his work is top class, and he's a serious racehorse. He's the champion horse, and he'll arrive on the day ready to go.
Give us a lowdown. You work with both the horses. Which is the better of the 2, in your opinion?
It's a near impossible question.
They can't both be champions, Justin.
They are. These are these are the real deal. These are horses that don't come along often. I'm very fortunate with my clients that I've ended up with both horses.
How did that happen?
They are that good. I've had good horses. These are serious. These are horses that will beat anything. I think they'll take on anything in the world. They that good.
How did it happen?
Look, things happen in racing, and if it falls my way, 2 hands grab and do the job. It's a lot of pressure, but that's what I've waited my whole career to have horses like this. So I take them any way they arrive, and just fortunate that I just hope that on Saturday they both get a good chance in the race. It's as simple as that. I just want everyone in the race to have an equal opportunity, get the job done, and that they all come back safe and sound. So big race on Saturday. The champions are going to be there, and this is going to be very interesting. I do think Futura is better over a little bit further, though, unfortunately.
The jockey arrangements fell into place absolutely perfectly, didn't they? You had Richard Oars rides Legislate, and then you got Sean Cormack rides a lot for you.
Richard's perfect for Legislate because Richard doesn't look back. Neither does Legislate. So they're perfect. And I needed a good rider for Futura because sadly Bernard phoned me and said he wouldn't be able to ride Futura for reasons, his commitments. So with his temperament, Sean is the perfect guy. So they run conscious together. Yeah. And I think it's going to be very entertaining and what happens on Saturday.
Well, that unconsciousness certainly wakes up a little bit come race day and sort of time of the race. They get into a bit of a groove, those guys, don't they?
They do. For me, a big thing about having these top horses is that when you compete against them, you're looking for that chink in the armour. You're looking for that, how can you beat these horses? Are they highly strung? Do they pull too much? And one thing about Dynasty being such a great stallion is that he produces horses with very little hassles. So the other guys have got their work cut out come Saturday.
Anything else you've got on the day that we should keep an eye on?
Look, I think Dynamic's been very unfortunate here in Durban. He cannot draw under 12. And you know, it's a bit of a pity because he should be qualifying for the July. So he'll be in the Cup trial, and if we overcome the draw, he'll run well. I've got that lovely horse from the Magic Millions, Lineker, that he's going to have a first shot at a feature.
Will he go 7 furlongs?
I think so.
No.
Beautiful temperament.
No. Lovely horse.
Also like Paul Lafferty, unconscious.
Yeah. Well, there are a whole lot of unconscious people around here. But just talking about unconscious, I heard that you missed an easy open goal to win a polo tournament the other day, so you're pretty unconscious too.
No, look here.
They told me they're not calling you back to play number 1 for them.
Listen, I came and played polo here in Durban. The boys are big, eh? The cane farmers, they're not small guys. I walked out, I've never had more bruises in my life but, playing against the Natal boys, but I've had great fun here. We're playing with Shongweni Polo Club, and we played in Richmond with the Chubb family, and what a way to spend a Durban season. I've got the horses, Summerfeld, my stables are absolutely beautiful, and then I go down and play polo. So I'm in a good place here.
Well, you know, Justin, life's about living it to the fullest, and you're doing it the right way, but there's still a big pressure. You seem to take it in your stride. Nothing seems to get you.
Oh, it's hard, James. It's not nice. I promise you, this Durban season for me with these 2 horses, it's been very hard. I hope next year it's a lot easier, but I just hope the results are there. You know, it's a lot of pressure to take, but I don't mind as long as we have a good day on Saturday and everyone gets a chance. I mean, if they're good enough, they're good enough. If they're not, you know, so be it. But I think Futura, the big thing with him is that he is prepping for the Durban July, whereas Legislate, we will discuss it after Saturday on how he behaves and what happens with the starting gates, and then we'll make a decision on where he's going.
Just as an aside, if you think you've got pressure, just think of Mike de Kock sitting there in America in the Belmont. We're seeing that on Saturday night. We've got the Investec Derby. Graham tells us as part of the program. It's going to be a huge day's racing.
Look, I mean, this whole weekend will be fantastic, but Mike deserves the pressure.
Yeah, but he seems to do well on it. He keeps in the major, doesn't he? I've seen him on the golf course. It's not going to be too stressed, I can assure you on that. Well, listen, it's huge. I know that you going on social media, you're telling everyone what it's all about. Is there anything you think that they should be doing to really promote a race like this?
Look, everyone likes to watch champions run. And I just hope that sometimes in South Africa good horses will bring people to come see what they look like, see how they act and stuff. But it's hard. It's very hard nowadays. There's so much going on people's weekends. It's competitive for racing.
All I can tell you, Rising Sun, the sponsors on the day, they will have stacks of people there. It will be a great day's racing. Hopefully everything goes well with you. And Justin, we wish you the best for Saturday and the rest of the season.
Great. Thanks very much and for having me here on the show.
Justin Snaith. Well, there you get it from the horse's mouth. You pay your money and you take your choice on Saturday, but don't miss Greyville. It's going to be a fantastic day's racing. You've heard what VJ's got to say from the Rising Sun. You've heard now what the top trainer in South Africa's got to say about the 2 best runners in the race. It's going to be great. Don't miss it. And Graham's told us we're going to the Investec Derby after that, and then we're going to be watching the Belmont after that. What a day. I can't wait for it. All you racing fans out there, have a great week.
Right, it's a big day into second position, but Military Roses giving them a bath. That's one of the biggest millions I've ever seen. Graceful Anna, the leader. Graceful Anna. Graceful Anna.
Champion Season All-Star Horse Racing.